Hola, welcome back. This is the second lesson to learning Mexican phrases that are emergency situations. It's Mexican Spanish. There's a difference between Spanish and Mexican Spanish. And this is for police officers. However, anybody can learn these. This is fine. But this is especially true for police officers. So in the first lesson you learned, I'm an officer and do you have any weapons? So when you approach somebody the first time that doesn't seem to be able to speak any English, you first want to let them know you're an officer, just as all your procedures say, to let everybody know that you're an officer because they need to know. So when you go up to them, you say, Yo soy un oficial. Yo soy un oficial. Perfect. If you need some practice, go to the first lesson, because I actually broke it down for you to understand how to say it. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to ask them if they have any weapons, because you need to protect yourself, and this is part of your procedures. You have to protect yourself. So when you ask them if they have any weapons, the easiest way for you to learn and for them to understand you is two words. Tiene armas. Tiene armas. Now the exact translation would be like has weapons. However, they don't need the do you have like we do. Their way of speaking is different from ours, so don't worry about anything being awkward because it's just awkward to you. Therefore, remember, tiene armas. Perfect. So then you want to approach the person and say, Yo soy un oficial. And then you want to say, are you carrying any weapons? ¿Tiene armas? Alright, and then since you're not going to be fluent in Spanish, at least right away, I want you to learn how to say that you don't speak Spanish, because if they start going off in some kind of tangent, they're going to think you're not listening to them, and who knows what's going to happen, because we all know, we've all been there, and it's not a good situation. So, I don't speak Spanish. No hablo español. If you say no like you say no in English, that's fine. They're gonna know what you're saying. However, I highly suggest that you learn how to say no appropriately, especially if you want to learn how to speak Spanish more fluently as you go on. So, there's the no as in no thank you that we have in English, and then there's the no as in Noah in the Genesis Bible. So there's a little bit different. There's no, no, and then there's no. You hear the difference? No, 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 no. So if you can learn how to say that, and it might be easier for you to say it kind of like fast at the beginning, no, because then you feel like you got it out right. Because you know when people get mad in those other languages, and sometimes we just kind of get it in the back of our head because we think it's funny when they go up to us and say no. Well, that's kind of the same way. You kind of learn it because it's kind of in the back of your head and you're kind of cracking up to yourself and you can't help it. I know. We've all done it. But the thing is that you don't do it in front of the person. So no. If you need to remember, no. But try to say it more official after you've practiced. So no. So no hablo español. So let me break that down a little bit more for you. No hablo español. 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 Perfect. So no hablo español. And remember the O in hablo, because if you say habla, you're telling them, you're saying you, basically, than me. So when you say no habla español, you're saying you don't speak Spanish, and then they're gonna think you're crazy. And they're already mad, irate, most likely, or scared. So you need to make sure that you've got that word correct. Hablo. Hablo. Okay? No hablo español. Perfect. And then when you go to say, do you speak English? Because I highly recommend that you do ask that, because they might say, no, 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 and then try to explain that somebody else does. at least you'll understand, because they'll be saying some kind of gibberish and then saying Inglés, Inglés, and then you'll know what Inglés is English. So that will help you tremendously, because then you'll start seeing where they're pointing, and then you can kind of work things out, as you already do when you run into these sort of situations. You kind of look for body language, and you always look for body language anyways, because you and I both know that what people say and their body language must match up, or they're lying. So, do you speak English? Habla inglés. Habla inglés. So, as in blah as in blah blah blah. Ing as in starring. And then gliss as in glistening. So, habla inglés. Habla inglés. Great. So here's what you're most likely going to do when you're approaching a situation. The first thing you want to do, is all our procedures say, is to let them know who you are. Identify yourself. Yo soy un oficial. The next thing you want to do is make sure everything's completely safe. You want to make sure everything's completely safe at the beginning, so please don't think that the first thing you have to do is identify yourself. Look around. Look around everywhere you're looking. Make sure that you're safe before you actually step into that situation, because you need to know who's what, where's what. You need to protect yourself. When you're out there on the streets, there's good people, but there's also people that will kill you. So you need to pay attention. So don't mix that up, that I'm trying to say the first thing you need to do, period, is say that you're an officer. No, the first thing you need to do is make sure you're safe and everybody else is safe. You need to observe this theme. Okay, so go ahead and identify yourself. Yo soy un oficial. I am an officer. And that is the exact wording that you're saying. Yo, I, soy, am, an oficial, officer. These words can interchange in some cases, just like some English words can, so don't worry about that. Just remember that it's basically, when you're saying this, this is word for word, I am an officer. Yo soy un oficial. And then tiene armas is, literal translation is has weapons, and that is okay, because they don't need all those extra words like we do. They can identify what you're saying. You don't need to say, do you have any weapons? All you have to say is tiene armas, and that's gonna be exactly all they need. And making it down to 2 words for you is going to be easier and faster for you to learn, so that when you're out there, you can think more about saving yourself and saving the people around you and protecting the people that you need to protect, and still be able to say some of these words. So, what I want you to do is, I want you to approach the person and I want you to say, Yo soy un oficial. And then I want you to ask them if they have any weapons. ¿Tiene armas? And then I want you to let them know you don't speak Spanish. No hablo español. And then I want you to ask them if they speak English. ¿Habla inglés? So take those phrases with you. Think about them. Repeat them to yourself. Maybe practice with some friends or other officers. But get those down. Put them in your back pocket. Look at them frequently. Get those down in your head. Yo soy un oficial. ¿Tiene armas? No hablo español. ¿Habla inglés? Good luck, practice, and I'll see you next time. Adios.